everyone, welcome back to the channel. Long belated welcome back. Very sorry about how long it's taken. I know I've done this kind of spiel before, but I feel I need to explain why I've not produced a video in 7 months. I've tried to produce a video. I've tried to produce part 2 of my satnav video for this bike. If you recall, at the end of part 1 I had significant problems with the phone losing the connection to the bike, or the bike losing connection to the phone. And I had several theories as to why that was, and rather than talk to BMW, I thought I would try and work it out myself. And not only that, but I'd try and work it out myself in an ad hoc way while riding my motorbike. Which of course led to hours and hours of unorganised and almost uneditable footage. Which kind of led to a bit of a lack of enthusiasm for the whole thing. I found myself not enjoying it so much. It's one thing riding around talking to nobody in particular, spouting off. It's quite another thing to actually edit it all together. So I thought, rather than actually write some scripts and actually change how I do things, I'll try and do the whole thing again. Take exactly the same approach and expect different results. But this time, with the benefit of hindsight, you know, I have actually done the investigation now as to why the navigation wasn't working. Or at least had the problems it did have. So I wasn't working it out on the fly. Well, I was back then, I'm not now. I know now what the problems are. And it turns out it's not necessarily anything to do with the bike, you'll be pleased to hear. Possibly something to do with the marketing of the bike. Or an assumption that BMW made. My first theory was born from the fact that when I look back at the footage of the first episode, I noticed that the problem started happening as I accessed the mobile phone recording software. There's a little app on the mobile phone which was recording the screen so that I could show you what was going on in the connected app. And as soon as I tried to access that app to switch off the recording, then I noticed the disconnection problems happening, and I thought, oh, maybe it's something to do with the app. So I spent a couple of hours, I guess, riding around without the app on, trying to see if the problem happened again, and lo and behold, the problem happened again. So that was my first theory out the window. And my second theory was maybe for the Wi-Fi connection to work properly between the bike and the phone might actually have to be in this little pocket down here that is meant for the phone to sit in. So I spent another couple of hours riding around with the phone, instead of on this cradle, the phone in this pocket. And guess what? That didn't solve the problem either. So I now have 4 hours of footage to try and edit together, and that was just me trying to figure out what the problem was on my own, let alone the footage where I actually found out what the problem actually was. And yeah, it's taken me 7 months to try and put something cohesive together that tells the story, and it still isn't finished. So I thought, let's try a different approach. Let's just go out on a ride and explain to you what I've just explained to you. It's not to do with the mobile phone recording software, although that did kick off the problem, because as I read in the instructions, the connected app doesn't like being in the background. It wants to be front and center. It doesn't even want you locking the phone screen. So when I brought the mobile phone recording software to the front, it threw its toys out the pram. However, that didn't explain the continued failures. And obviously 2 hours riding around on the bike with the phone in the mobile phone pocket here also didn't cure the problem. So it wasn't anything to do about where the phone was, as far as where it's mounted on the bike. So what was the problem? Well, the idea for what the problem was came from my experiences with this Insta360 camera. When I first got it, the marketing once again said, hey, guess what? You don't need to use your mobile app to use the camera. We've got a mobile app, you can shoot footage using the app, you can edit footage in the app, and I'm going, I don't want that, I want to do it on the desktop when I get home. But they said you don't need to do that, you can just press the buttons on the camera. So I thought, great, that's the one for me then. I went and bought it, put the batteries in, put a memory card in, fired it up, pressed the record button, and it said, oh, you need to use the mobile app to activate the camera. And I'm thinking, what? Activate the camera? How many times have you bought a camera and put the battery in and put the memory card in and tried to record some media on it and had to activate it with the mobile phone? Anywho, that sent me in a right-off tizzy. Lots of angry emails to their support people who were based in China and so used some very odd use of English language. Anywho, I decided, you know, I saw how things were going. Perhaps I'll just start that bit again because that's just shown me as not concentrating. I just blasted through a 30 mile an hour zone at 50 miles an hour. So anyway, I thought I could see where things are going. These days everything needs an app. Everything needs an app. Everything needs an app. I don't want an app because I'm very jealous about my personal data. If I have to give up my personal data to get a free service, then that costs too much. So I thought, okay, I have this plan that I've had hatching in my mind for some time now, for just when this situation arises. I'm going to buy an old mobile phone and I'm going to have it as SIM free, and I'm going to buy a pay-as-you-go SIM, and then I'm going to have a platform on which I can install various apps, and it doesn't matter what information they try and steal about me, it's nothing to do with me. There is no connection to me, to my credit cards, to my financials. You know, I'll buy the top-ups on the SIM card with cash, etc., etc., because yes, I am that paranoid, alright? So I go ahead and do that. I find, I don't know, it might be a second hand, it might be reconditioned, it might just even be old stock. An old Nokia 3.4 on Amazon for £100. I think, great, that's the one for me. That's the one for me. And the reason I had to call up or keep sending nasty emails to Insta360 support is because it didn't bloody work. It wouldn't connect to the camera. Yeah, are we seeing a pattern here? Didn't connect to the camera. The Bluetooth found it okay, but it wouldn't see the camera's Wi-Fi hotspot. It wouldn't connect via Wi-Fi. However, I have my real phone, which is a Samsung, and it could see the camera's hotspot. Now, I didn't connect it up for the same reason that I've just said. You know, I don't want these apps running on my real mobile phone. But it could see the mobile hotspot, sorry, the Wi-Fi hotspot of the camera. So I thought, that's interesting. Let's have a look at the difference in specs between my Samsung and this Nokia 3.4. And lo and behold, what do we see? In the Wi-Fi specs, we see that the 3.4 supports Wi-Fi Bravo, Golf and November, as B, G and N. The Samsung supports those three and also supports Wi-Fi A for Alpha. So, okay. Let's bite the bullet then. How much do I want to spend on keeping my data safe. What is my data privacy worth to me? Well, obviously it was worth £100. Is it worth another £100, or has it turned out £150? Because I couldn't find another mobile phone on Amazon that had Wi-Fi A that was that cheap, but I did find one for £150. I'm going to stop over here and let this guy go past. So I found a Nokia 5.1 Plus for £150. And I guess long story short, it did solve the problem. I was able to use that phone with the Insta360 app to activate the camera. So I thought, okay, that's, you know, ringing a bell in my mind as far as the connection with this bike is concerned. So let's install the connected app on the Nokia 5.1 Plus and start using that. I didn't want to use that because all the other satnav apps I've got are on the 3.4, but you know, let's go with it. And yeah, the problem has gone away pretty much. There's still the odd random disconnection, but far less frequently and only for a few seconds at a time. And so there we go, I have solved the problem. So part 2 of my navigation journey video is saying, yeah, it doesn't work with all phones. Now having said that, I said a little bit earlier that this was possibly a marketing problem. I didn't see anywhere in the bike's marketing literature that there was a compatibility list for the mobile phone. I didn't see any hints that there was a compatibility list to be downloaded. And so as a warning to all of you who want to buy this bike and want to be using your mobile phone with the connected app, I would just say that my current theory is you need to make sure it supports not only Bluetooth and not just Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi A. Make sure it supports Wi-Fi A. And to be honest, probably any modern phone would probably work fine. It's just I wanted to do it on the cheap. I buy a £21,000 bike and I want to do the mobile phone thing on the cheap. That's not quite true, because I did buy that mobile phone before getting this bike. But anywho, yes, if you want to use the connected app, then make sure your phone supports Wi-Fi A.
There you have it then. Quite a short video compared to part 1. As you can tell, I failed to record an outro for this video whilst on the bike. What can I say, it's a hobby. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please consider using the like button. Whether you did or not, feel free to leave a constructive comment. And if you generally enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing. I'm reasonably sure it won't be very long before another video pops up here, so I hope to see you soon.